As fears continue over the cholera outbreak in Hammanskraal in Pretoria, residents in Alex in Johannesburg are also worried about poor water quality in their community. Newzroom Afrika Zola Sholwana is live there for us this morning. Zola, and these fears are not misplaced.
Yes, Michelle, I spoke earlier to residents who really were showing their frustrations and how worried they are about the issue or the situation of the Jaskei River. Now, the question that we're asking is that, are we waiting for a cholera outbreak case in the area for the Jaskei contaminated river to be dealt with by the government? But the correct person to respond to that, Michelle, is the councillor. If you could allow me to speak to Mr. Marema. Sir, thank you very much for your time. When we spoke earlier on, you mentioned that solutions are there, but they're not being materialized.
Yes, of course. There's supposed to be a lot of things that needs to happen around Jaskei River. One of those is the gabions that we have requested. If you can see, the river is starting to push towards the houses there. And if something is done, we will avoid that problem. And you can see it's not even safe for people, for kids who are playing around near the river, playing inside the river. Up there is a sewer that's spilling inside the river. You don't even know whether there is cholera or any other diseases caused by the river there. But I think there is a thinking around how to actually deal with the problem of Jaskei. We just need government to actually, play its part. It's simply because government is not doing anything. We were supposed to have gabions. We were supposed to be alerted as communities around here because we live closest to the river. What is happening in Hammanskraal might happen here around in Alex. It's for government to come through and play its part, alert our people, tell us if we're safe, tell us if we're not going to have a problem.
Okay, so has there been communication from the government to you as community leaders with regards to maybe coming and testing the water and making sure that, it's not contaminated?
The only communication that came from government is in terms of the water from the tap that we drink. They have assured us that that has been tested, the E. coli has been tested, it's tested against cholera, and it has passed the test. So it's safe to drink the water. Joe Begora has confirmed that. But my biggest worry now, it's not necessarily the water from the tap. It's the water flowing down the stream of Jaskei as to whether there's anyone who is taking an interest in testing this water, making sure that from time to time, the kids that are playing around here don't even come through or closer to the river, or if the river doesn't have any other diseases that can get to our people.
Mm-hmm. Now, residents have been raising concerns saying that, their children, like we saw earlier, children were trying to pick up their ball that fell in the water and are trusting you as their leaders to be the voice and maybe perhaps come up with a solution before we actually have cases of cholera in the area.
Of course, we will continue to speak to government to try and get government to do the right thing. Firstly, to have some sort of rangers or people who guard the rivers around. Because our kids are just playing. This is a park. This is the only place where these kids around here play. But if there is no elder or adult person here who is looking after that community, we're going to have a problem. So we will continue to lobby government to do that which is right, to make sure that our people are safeguarded and to make sure that our people don't get into this river. We're not sure whether there's diseases in there. So it's something that we need to lobby government to try and deal with the problem.
Mm-hmm. So we have the organizations actually that, make it their job to make sure these rivers actually cleaned up by maybe regularly coming and cleaning the plastics. Now, that is coming from organizations.
Yes.
From the government's part, what are you then doing, to make sure that these rivers are at least cleaned up so that maybe something better could come out of this river?
Alex is a neglected area, man. And I really appreciate what these guys, friends of Jaskei, are doing. The water warriors, what they're doing in terms of picking litters around Jaskei and doing the recycling around Jaskei. And I think they're doing a very good job. My wish is that government can perhaps incorporate them through programs of EPWP so that at least they don't just pick those waste and go and recycle them to make or get an income. but also get some sort of a program of EPWP from government point of view. I mean, there's a whole high rate of unemployment in the country, in the city. The city must take and make its interest. But like I said, Alex looks so neglected. Alex looks like a place, a forgotten area, you know. And it is so little that is being done by government. That is why people are now actually doing it themselves. But I would make an appeal to government from time to time and say, but let's look into these areas. I mean, look at our cemeteries across. This area is just neglected. But government must come into party and assist our people. Not only assist them by taking the work that they are doing, because you know there's these tendencies of government seeing people doing something, now they want to take their ideas and kick those people who are actually doing things themselves. Government must support those already initiatives that are there by making sure that these people get also employment and also motivate them to do what they're doing, because they're doing their really good work.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Now, it is quite clear that solutions have been presented on the table, but the issue is making sure that they are materializing, as the community of Alex is worried about what could possibly happen after there's been reported cases of a cholera outbreak in the epicenter, which is Hammanskraal. Michelle, back to you in studio.
Zola, thanks very much indeed for that perspective. Zola Sholwana left us there in Alexandra in Johannesburg.